Hello and welcome to The Frame. We start with the City Council meeting from Tuesday, October 7th, as Framingham legislators learned about the results of a recent audit on the local government's diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The Texas-based firm Racial Equity Group was provided a contract last year to look into how Framingham leaders provide equitable opportunities for all stakeholders to be employed within the city government and to gain access to important resources for vendors and contractors to do business with the city, and for community members to take part in municipal committees and boards. To sum it up, Framingham scored a 3.63 out of a possible 5, which is considered by the firm to be a compliant level. That score was based on data and survey responses from hundreds of municipal employees collected by REG. President and CEO of the firm, Bird Guest, said that the score is meant to offer an initial benchmark for Framingham leaders.
This speaks to a lot of the foundational work that has been done in terms of DEI. And so that's something that you want to continue to build upon to move us into that committed category.
Among the number of findings included data regarding employment availability for the local government, or the estimate of the proportion of a race or ethnic group who either have or are looking for a municipal job. REG found that the available white and Hispanic or Latino workforce for the city's government is higher than that of nearby communities in this part of Massachusetts, though the Black and Asian workforce represents a smaller portion of the relevant pool of labor. Guest reiterated that those figures are not an indicator of any discriminatory practices. Rather, he sees them as data points to help develop future strategies. District 2 City Council member Brandon Ward found that insight helpful, though he did say that local leaders should consider Framingham's diverse demographics when compared to cities and towns within Middlesex County and other nearby communities.
Even if our hiring mirrors the metro counties, great, that's our hiring pool. But we should also be acknowledging that it might not still represent our community, and that maybe we want to strive for something better or even higher than our surrounding communities.
Framingham's DEI officer Jesse Edwards told local legislators that he and other officials will be considering the next steps for the city on this front, with an update slated to be provided in about 4 months. We continue our series of interviews previewing the upcoming local election with a spotlight on the city council race in District 4. Incumbent Michael Cannon is facing his first challenge since initially being sworn into the seat back in 2018, as Army vet and local nurse Stephen Belcher will also be on the ballot. We spoke with both Cannon and Belcher to learn about their backgrounds and their campaigns. Here's a preview of those interviews.
You know, at the end of the day, we work for the folks that sent us into the memorial building. That's really important because we work for them and we need to be responsive to them.
What are we going to do as we grow older as a community? Where are we going to put your mother, your father, your spouse, yourself in a few years, and what does that affordability look like?
Once again, Election Day in District 4 and across Framingham as a whole is Tuesday, November 4th. The time to register for the local election is quickly running out. Saturday, October 25th is the registration deadline to vote on a number of races and topics, including the race for mayor, while Tuesday the 28th at 5 p.m. is the deadline to apply for a vote-by-mail ballot. A reminder that you can log on to accessfram.tv for additional election coverage, including the full debate between Charlie Sisitsky and Jeff Epstein, the two candidates for mayor this fall. That debate is available there in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Additionally, the full interviews with both Michael Cannon and Stephen Belcher in District 4 can be found on our website, frame.news. We also have a full article about that city council race, along with more details on the topics we cover every week, including that DEI story that we featured at the top of the show this week, as well as feature pieces we've done across the community and a calendar filled with upcoming local events. Subscribe to our email newsletter so that you're always up to date with Framingham News in Focus. The Framingham Fire Department announced on Monday, October 6th, that active duty firefighter Keith Cashman died over the previous weekend. Cashman was a member of the local fire department since 2015, having been assigned to Group 3, Station 5, Rescue 1. Before his tenure in Framingham, he was a part of Fall River's fire department. Condolences from first responders and other community members have poured in since the announcement. Keith Cashman was 52 years old. In other news, State Senate President Karen Spilka's annual Health and Wellness Fair for residents aged 55 and above is taking place in Framingham on Saturday, October 18th. Residents are invited to register to take advantage of COVID and flu vaccines, learn about local services and resources for things like rental and fuel assistance, and connect with community members over free food and live music. The event will run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Keefe Tech along Winter Street. More details can be found at karenspilka.com/fair2025. And finally, a preview of this week's Frame by Frame segment. Last Saturday, October 4th, marked the inaugural Framingham Fest, which was held at the Center Common amid the celebration of the 325th anniversary of the community's incorporation. We were on hand to cover the action, including a competition among the local school mascots, and to speak with local officials about what it means to bring residents together through an event like this. Let's take a look.
We're really excited to have Framingham Fest because it's such a great economic driver for the small businesses, but also a connection point for a lot of our organizations that support the city and its residents.
It was a friendly competition, so you want your school to win, but at the same time, you want Framingham to win. What a nice unifying event for the city, and it's just fantastic. I hope there's more of these.
As always, more frame-by-frame coverage can be found on our social media pages. Follow at frame.news_ on Instagram for additional local journalism. You can search for The Frame on Facebook as well. Subscribe to Access Framingham's channel on YouTube, and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we publish new content. Follow us on Spotify, too. We publish full Frame episodes for you to watch or listen to there. That will do it for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For our entire team here at The Frame, thanks for joining us. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.